really large-scale, high-stakes action film, which is rooted in the relationships and the dynamics between these three characters.
I'm sorry I have to start out with a tough question, but many of us know Paul Walker was attached to this film before we lost him. I'm very glad you guys are continuing the film, but were there any major changes that had to be made in the concept of the characters?
I don't know the answer to that question. I know that it was a really tough moment because they were pretty close to production when that really tragedy happened. And I am grateful to be a part of carrying something on. Obviously, everybody acknowledged that it was in the face of great loss. But everything you have to ask that question to the producers and writers.
Would you each speak about the characters you play in the film?
Sure.
I play a character called Katia Bandis. I'm not allowed to say too much without giving away things that I can't give away, but to sort of speak in a general but hopefully informative way. Katia is not who you initially meet. She's more. There's more to me. There's more to her than you would think when you first meet her. Sounds very vague, but
I think the way it's hard to talk about projects like this. Obviously, we want to preserve the experience of the audience, but yeah, we also want to give you guys something that you can actually write about.
which I just felt.
And basically, I feel like the story is it's a really large-scale, high-stakes action film, which is rooted in the relationships and the dynamics between these three characters that are played by Hannah, myself, and our third and most important ally in this is Rupert Friend, who plays Agent 47 himself. He's obviously shooting Homeland in South Africa, which we're all really excited to see, but it prevented him from being here with us today. So it's a real triangle, and basically Katia is searching for someone, and my character John Smith presents himself to her in an effort to help her find who she's looking for. But nothing is what it seems with these people. All of us are serving agendas that are sometimes at odds with what we're presenting. But it's tough to be more specific than that, because then the experience becomes generalized for the audience. Yes, sir. Or ma'am, or someone.
Hi, sorry about that. I'm from Singapore, and 1847 was the first major Hollywood film to be shot in Singapore.
Yeah, boy.
Can you talk a little bit about your experience in shooting in Singapore, and what that was like, and compared to shooting in Berlin, which was the unbelievable location?
We shot about the first 2/3 of the movie in Berlin, and then we moved the whole thing to Singapore for the last 3 weeks. So we were in Berlin for about 2 months, and then moved to Singapore. You couldn't really get more different as far as cities are concerned in terms of lifestyle and architecture, and it was an amazing experience to be in both of them and to bring them to life and to capture as well as they did.
And both the cities, in their own way, are integral to the plot. It's really, really interesting. I mean, visually, they couldn't, as that's Zach saying, they could be more different, and that really helped us, I think, as actors. It just really threw you into it, and we were filming in the places where the story was placed, so
we really
that was really important. Yeah,
both of them, we were in them, and that was the coolest part about being in Berlin.
I wasn't pretending to be somewhere else when we're somewhere else, which is always annoying.
Really love Singapore. Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
It's about your preparation for this role. When something is based on like a book or a TV show or comic books, it has so much material. But sometimes in video games, it's so much more than just the shoot 'em up and stuff like that. How hard is it for you guys to prepare for these characters that are based on video games?
I mean, the character I play in the movie exists in the world of the video game, but in a peripheral way. So for me, it wasn't about playing the video game to understand the character. And Hannah's character is not in the movie.
My character doesn't exist, so I suppose I was free in that respect. But there are other elements of my character. She has a heightened awareness of sort of survival, and again, I can't really talk about it now. But that informed how I approached the role and what I did in terms of preparation. And they're both very physical roles, so we had, lots of training and stunt work, and I've never done that before. Zach obviously has.
And I think Rupert actually really did go into the game a little bit and explore the world through the game, because he is the titular character, and so it makes sense for him in a way. But prep for a movie and any role it's just very different depending on what's required. I think for us, especially, the physical aspects of these characters became really important in how they present themselves to the world. But what's really going on, maybe something different, and then all the action sequences. So it was a lot of stunt training, prep work. It was great fun, actually. It was really challenging, but it was really, we had to throw ourselves in headlong, and that's always a good thing when you're forced to do that. We good? Have we satisfied all curiosity? We're doubling up here. Oh, there she is. Oh.
I'd like to hear a little more about the stunts that you did, the physical work you did. Which was the one that was most challenging for you?
There's a particular stunt that I do, which I never thought I would, and I have seen it in concerts that pop singers do, and it involves ropes. And I can't really say what it is without giving away some part of the story.
You were suspended quite a bit.
I was tied up and I was suspended.
We had stunt training in the same place in Berlin. And I remember one day I showed up to start my stunt training, which is much more traditional, sort of hand-to-hand combat and gun work and stuff. And then I knew Hannah was coming a little bit later. And so I was up working and doing it in one part of the room, and I turned around at one point and she was literally just hanging upside down.
Like Circus Soleil.
Yeah, for Hannah, a lot of Cirque du Soleil stuff. For me, I think the most challenging stunt sequence we have in the movie is one where there's a close range gunfire. And it was really interesting because we used actual, guns. And so I was closer than you and I are now with the gun going off, in my direction. So I've shot guns before and been shot at, but I had never worked so intensely with handguns. And, I'm not a real big fan of handguns or weapons in general, which is ironic considering, the kinds of movies I've done and stuff. But it was that for me was the most interesting challenge on the stunt side, because I've never done anything like that. You guys must, so you're back. You are really just.
I do have one question.
Keep going.
Hannah, I don't know if this is too specific, but is there a femme fatale in your character as far as the history of genre films goes?
Okay.
Is there a femme fatale quality to my character?
Yes.
There could be.
Hannah Ware's playing characters. How is there not a femme fatale quality to it? I wonder.
Yes, there is. I think that Katia proves to be a stronger constitution than one might think she is. I mean, she's presented as quite an ordinary, she's never presented as ordinary, but a waif-like figure roaming Berlin searching for someone that she can't find. And soon enough you find out that she has strengths in other ways and abilities in other ways. And I think what's really exciting is that she discovers that while the audience are discovering it, she goes on this journey and she's sort of finding this out for herself. And there might well be some femme fatale qualities.
For ComicCon, who would you cosplay as?
Who would you cosplay as? Cosplay. I don't even know what Hannah knows about me.
I don't know what that means. I'm a Comic-Con.
Cosplay is who wants to, why don't you explain to Hannah what cosplay is?
Oh, God. You're looking at me like I'm I'd like to be Batman, actually. Yeah. When I was younger, I always thought, when people asked me what they thought God looked like, I always imagined Batman. And I didn't realise. No, I always thought this very handsome, sort of chiseled man with a sort of spandex under his head. And then I realised I was actually imagining Batman, but
Well, if Hannah's going to be Batman, then I better be Robin.
How is the movie in respect to the, I don't know if you've seen it, the 2007 version, and I understand it's the same writer as well, or some thought on that?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's 8 years on since they made that movie.
Yeah.
I think technology and cinematography have evolved in a lot of ways. I think it's very different visually.
Yeah.
You know, there's a scale to this movie and a dynamic to it that is, there's a sleekness to it that I think separates it a little bit from that previous film. But again, times are different and appetites have changed and people have higher expectations for visual effects and special effects. And you know, I think that's what this movie is based in. You know, what's really trying to pursue at the same time as trying to be something rooted in character and the dynamics of those relationships.
Zachary, I have a question for you. For adaptations, we do a lot of work, like with this as a video game or Star Trek. What's the biggest challenges for you with adaptations versus like maybe independent film or some of your TV roles?
Yeah. I guess I feel like my approach to that kind of thing is to just try to set myself free from any kind of expectation or comparison, because ultimately, if they're reimagining something or adapting something or evolving something beyond the point of its original concept or its original execution, then they're doing that, or we're doing that, because we want to take it into a different landscape. And so for me, I just try to let myself really focus on the work that's ahead of me and what my job is and how I'm bringing something to life, rather than, you know, that's a fan-based thing, you know, that idea of comparison. That's what fans do. That's why fans exist, because they believe in something connects to them. You know, they have passionate feelings and connections and opinions about stuff. And so I hand things over for that debate to be held among people besides me. My job is not to engage in that debate so much as it is to give them something to debate about or discuss or have a reaction to.
Thank you guys
Thank
so
you
much.
guys for your time.